Good morning, folks. This is your Peachy Die virus update for the 3rd. Peachy go away in 2 days. I'm going to have to come up with something else to open up my podcast with. I think this coronavirus thing might be around for a little bit longer. Caucuses are on the menu for today. We're going to see what the Democrat Party tries to do to Bernie Sanders. They've already changed the rules to get Bloomberg on the debate stage, which I find fascinating. And if Sanders comes out of the caucuses with a very strong showing, I think that's going to be interesting too. The other thing is Klobuchar, her race may end today. Very possible that she's done. All right. But we'll see about that. And then we're going to get the State of the Union. Then the next day, the Senate votes to acquit, and game's over. By the way, speaking of which, where is that deposition from the IG? How come shithead hasn't released it yet? What's in that? For those of you that claim that you actually know that the president is guilty, and by God, no, you don't. You haven't read the 30,000 pages of testimony, neither have I. Why? Because I can't get them on unredacted form, so therefore I can't read them, and neither can you. For those of you who say that the Senate had a duty to dig into this thing and call witnesses and take depositions, may I point out that during Bill Clinton's impeachment, exactly 0 senators from either side of the aisle went over to the House, into the SCIF, and looked at the voluminous documentation and all of the data that had been collected during the House part of that investigation and the Starr investigation. Remember, there was a special counsel that was involved with this, prior to the impeachment that happened for Bill. No senators wanted to go see that data. None of the Democrats, specifically, who voted to acquit Mr. Bill Clinton, wanted to go look at the information, which, by the way, did prove at a documentary level some of the allegations that were raised against Clinton. It wasn't supposition. It wasn't people who believed. It was actual hard documentary proof. You folks do remember that there was a blue cum-stained dress that had Clinton's DNA on it, right? A dress. Now, I don't think that Clinton put the dress on himself. I don't think he's a cross-dresser. So, mind telling me how his semen got on there? Yeah. I did not have sex with that woman. We all remember that, right? No, you don't? Oh, no. Standards are different when it's Orange Man. Okay. Please pull the other one, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Coronavirus. So, today, from the GIS and data site, the count stands at 1749. Almost all still in mainland China. We have 11 confirmed cases allegedly in the United States. I think the actual number is 12. The map here says there's 2 in Chicago. We have other reports that there are 3. Now, that's especially interesting to me because there is an individual who I am loosely acquainted with, and that I've seen his handle before, on another forum that has nothing to do with politics or viruses or whatever have you, who has an active case, and he's in a hospital. Unfortunately, he also has some very serious comorbidities, and if he passes as a result of having this virus, it won't surprise me. At this point, he's not sick enough that he can't use a computer, all right, even though he's in the hospital. I was doing some digging around yesterday trying to figure out exactly where the cases are being treated in the Chicago area, and the reason is if I find out where they are, it will either support or refute the position that our government, at least in that city, is being honest with us about the number of cases and their status. That's what happens when you have a small enough number of cases that if somebody is lying to you, it would be double. So that would be, they double out. So there you go. And that's, I think, where we should be with that. I don't think that's going to end up being the case. I think the reality of it is that we're going to find that, at least for now, that this is being true. By the way, that we haven't yet seen the spikes, the exponential moves outside of China is very interesting. This week, we're either going to see them or we're not going to see them. And if they don't come this week in other nations, then there's a problem for those who say that this is going to be some global disaster. No, it's not. Anyone who, by the way, thinks that we shouldn't take some credit, white men, oh, yes, we should. I think we are going to eventually learn that the primary route by which this disease is transmitted is not through the expulsion of droplets in coughs and sneezes at all. I think we're going to find that it's primarily a fecal transmission thing. That also would correlate really well with it spreading through the animal hybrid path in open markets where you have butchering going on, and maybe we're not being so careful about entrails, eh? No, that never happens. Or where you have toilets that are pits in the ground and no water, no sanitization of your hands, and oh, by the way, no toilet paper. So guess what you're using to wipe your butt? No, that isn't endemic all over the Asian continent, is it? Oh, wait a minute. Why do we call it a crapper? Because that's the last name of one of the people that invented it. And what color was his skin? Yeah. Oh, it's racist to take credit for good things. Well, in this case, maybe it's not, right? Or maybe we ought to start looking at things in reality. How come Singapore, Thailand, Japan right next door to the hot spot, right? Right there, 20 cases. Now, maybe they're lying. And maybe they're not. Australia. I have a suspicion that Australia uses the same kind of toilets we use. I haven't been to Australia, but I bet they do. They have 12 cases. The United States has 11. Almost all of them, nearly all, in the case of the United States, are people who had traveled to China. But not all. Don't think. But nearly all. Hey, just saying. You got some European countries that have a couple cases here and there too, but again, the exponential breakout has not occurred in any of those other nations. The only place it's happened is in China, but again, we're seeing some evidence of the flattening of that curve. And the last time we saw it a few days ago, it was a false god. We went back to trend. This time, we're seeing it again. We've got a couple days here. Give me another couple days. If that flattening persists into the Wednesday, Thursday time frame, this is the point at which you can say that you're actually seeing containment start to work. Now, the way that they're doing it is rather draconian, but I thought quarantines didn't work. Maybe they do. The Chinese are doing it, right? And incidentally, if you think that the Chinese put up a major hospital like the 1,000-bed hospital in 10 days without any prior planning and no nothing being ready to go, oh boy, you got rocks in your head, folks. You think that this wasn't something that they knew could happen? Of course they did. Hello SARS. Yeah. In terms of origins, we don't have any more than we had before. And there's still a few people running around screaming bioweapon. Guys, there's no evidence for this. However, accidental release, I'm willing to believe that. And that ought to be run to the ground. But you know what? It isn't going to be. And you know why? Because, then wouldn't we have an interesting conversation about whether or not the Chinese are really such great innovators and great people. By God, we really are. We are the smartest people on the planet, or whether you're just a bunch of bumbling, dumb bunnies. Yeah. Oh, wait. Not just bumbling, dumb bunnies. You steal everything that's not nailed down from everybody else. That didn't happen out of Canada, did? Oh, wait, it did. We didn't just have some undisclosed stuff come up that nobody supposedly knew about, but a little corruption going on in our university system with the Chinese and Americans, did we? Oh, that got driven off the front page of the newspapers. How about the rest of our so-called university system? Pure as the driven snow. Let me let the cat out so you can take a dump on it. Oh, my God. All right, so that's where we are today, folks. A little bit shorter than the normal length, just because there really isn't a whole lot to talk about right now. You should read the article that I put up this morning about the medical scams, because that's where the real 900-pound gorilla is in the room with regards to what's going to happen here in the next few years. But again, as of today, the whole coronavirus thing, we're just not seeing that exponential takeoff in the United States. Doesn't mean you're not going to have some more cases. We probably are going to have some more cases. Some of them may be very bad, especially if you happen to have a pre-existing medical problem that makes you very susceptible to really severe outcomes from even things like seasonal flu. And then you get this one, and we'll start doing domini over you. I mean, I shouldn't joke about that, I suppose, but it's the truth. All right, so have a good one, folks, and I'll be back with another update in the morning. Take care.